Norway reached the Women's World Cup quarter-finals after a dramatic shootout victory over Australia. The 1995 winners took the lead just after the half hour in Nice, when Karina Sabek's brilliant through ball was finished off by Isabel Herlovsen. The Matildas were denied a penalty by VAR, but 7 minutes from the end, they levelled in the unlikeliest of fashions. Elise Kellon-Knight, direct from a corner. That took the game into extra time when both sides had their chances and Australia had Alana Kennedy sent off. It all came down to the penalty shootout. The Aussies off target, and it was Ingrid Engen who sealed Norway's win, 4-1 in the shootout. Norway will meet either England or Cameroon in the last 8 in Le Havre on Thursday. All eyes now on hosts France as they continue their bid to add the women's title to the Men's World Cup. They topped their group with 3 straight wins, but their task in Le Havre tonight is far from simple. They have to beat Brazil, the best of the third-place teams. French coach Corinne Diacre says her players have been preparing well. If we keep on having many opportunities and at the end of the game we win, I can be satisfied, sincerely. Now listen, regarding our attacking efficiency, we've done our homework. Training sessions are not the same as a match, but we try to work with the quality of our passes, the quality of our movement on the field, and the quality of our finishing. Brazil were runners-up to Germany in 2007, but have since dropped to 10th in the world rankings, and they come into the World Cup having lost 9 consecutive games. Apart from the problems that we're suffering, we're feeling confident about facing France. Without a doubt, France is in a special moment. They are the host country. They have the fans supporting them. They have everything in their favour. That's why maybe I'd say France are the favourites, but it depends what happens on the pitch. France hoping to become the first host nation ever to make it past the first knockout game at a Women's World Cup. Brazil's men's team overwhelmed Peru with 3 goals in a superb first half to set up a crushing 5-0 victory and cruise into the Copa America quarter-finals. Casemiro, Firmino and man of the match Everton all scored in the first half, with Dani Alves and Willian rounding out the win. The hosts will play one of the 2 third-place teams on Thursday. 3-time winners and 2013 champions Nigeria edged past tournament debutants Burundi 1-0 in their African Nations Cup Group B opener in Alexandria. Burundi hit the bar in the first half, but it was Odion Igalo who scored the only goal for the Nigerians after 77 minutes. Also in Group B, Guinea drew 2-2 with Madagascar. Roger Federer's preparations for Wimbledon are going nicely. The Swiss is into the final at Halle for the 13th time after seeing off Frenchman Pierre-Hugues Herbert 6-3, 6-3. Little more straightforward for Federer than his previous matches against Jo-Wilfried Tsonga and Roberto Bautista Agut. 37-year-old Federer looking to lift the Halle Trophy for the 10th time. He's going to have to beat David Goffin to do it. The 30-somethings enjoying themselves at Queen's Club in London too. 34-year-old Gilles Simon into the final after coming from a set down to see off Daniil Medvedev. Simon dropped the opener on a tie-break but came back to take the next 2 sets 6-4, 6-3 to book his first final of the season. He'll meet Feliciano Lopez, another of the last-gen players. The 37-year-old too strong for Canadian teenager Felix Auger-Aliassime. Lewis Hamilton will start today's French Grand Prix in pole position after edging his Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas in the first run of final qualifying at the Paul Ricard circuit. It's the championship leader's 3rd pole of the season. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc took 3rd, while teammate Sebastian Vettel was a disappointing 7th. But the stars of qualifying were arguably the McLarens, with Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz in 5th and 6th. Renault's Daniel Ricciardo was 8th, with Red Bull's Pierre Gasly in 9th. On an evening that started with glorious sunshine and high drama in the form of a controversial race restart, the 2019 Bern E-Prix ended with a downpour as Jean-Eric Vergne held on in tricky conditions to secure his 3rd victory of this Formula E championship. Faced with a wet track, Vergne came under pressure as second-place Mitch Effens repeatedly pushed for a way past. But Vergne refused to relinquish the lead, just edging out his rival as he closes in on a 2nd successive title. Team Ineos Ivan Sosa took the 3rd stage of the Tour of Occitanie in front of defending champion Alejandro Valverde, who's still ahead of the general classification on the eve of the final stage. A strong attack from the young French-Russian rider forced the main leaders, that included Movistar's Valverde, to react immediately. Valverde couldn't match Sousa's sprint pace in the final 300 metres of the race to take victory ahead of the GC leader. Today's final stage ends in Clermont-Pugliese. Timothy Cahill top scored with 12 points as the French volleyball team continued their fine run of form as they defeated Portugal in straight sets in the Nations League. Even with a largely overhauled team, France were never really tested in their matchup with the Portuguese. Laurent Tilly's men made it 8 wins in 11 matches before they return again today to face host nation and current leaders Iran. France will meet Portugal again in September in the first round of the European Championships. Chez Reavie shot a 7-under 63 to take a 6-stroke lead into the final round of the Travellers' Championship. Coming off a third-place tie last week in the US Open, the 37-year-old Reavie was 6 shots behind halfway leader Zach Suker at the turn, then matched the tournament record with a back nine 28. Suker dropped 5 strokes on the first 3 holes of the back nine to finish with a 71. He's joint second with Keegan Bradley.